listening or watching Radio Afinju. The time is 6 p.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfíjù. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfíjù. Rédíò. Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Àfíjù. Lórí WhatsApp. Àfíjù. Instagram. Àfíjù. Facebook. Àfíjù. Lórí X. Àfíjù. Lórí YouTube. Àfíjù. Lórí TikTok. Àfíjù. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfíjù. Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfíjù. Rédíò. Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Àfíjù. Rédíò Àfíjù. Rédíò Àfíjù. Rédíò Àfíjù.
This is the world news on Radio Afinju.
First, a look at the highlights. Federal government adopts new strategy for economic growth. Police in Nasarawa arrest notorious kidnap kingpin with 5 others. Iran's Khamenei declares U.S. issue unsolvable amid nuclear standoff. Good evening and welcome to the World News on Radio Afinju. My name is Durotoye. The news in detail. A new policy framework to enhance the management of the nation's public debt has been introduced, with the Debt Management Office, DMO, announcing the approval of the medium-term debt management strategy for 2024 to 2027. The strategy, developed with technical support from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and approved by the Federal Executive Council, sets fresh benchmarks to balance government financing needs with long-term sustainability while minimizing costs and risks. The DMO said the MTDS focuses on meeting the government's short to medium-term financing and payment obligations, achieving an optimal debt portfolio, and expanding the domestic securities market through innovative products. Major targets include extending the average debt maturity to at least 10 years to ease repayment pressures and cutting the share of foreign exchange denominated debt to 45% of the total debt, down from 51.75%, to reduce exposure to currency volatility, among others. The DMO said the strategy was developed after consultations with key stakeholders, including the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Ministry of Finance. Following the collapse of the entire structure of the Social Democratic Party in the state into the African Democratic Congress, the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has applauded what he described as a spirit of unity and foresight. A statement by the Coalition Publicity Secretary, Darius Kura, today said the meeting was presided over by El-Rufai, who brought together key stakeholders and political leaders across party lines. El-Rufai, who is widely seen as one of the major political influences in the north, hailed the measure as a bold step toward building a formidable front ahead of the future political contest. He said Kaduna State could only achieve progressive governance and inclusive development when political leaders put aside narrow interests and work together for the greater good. In Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has reacted to a circulating video showing residents of Osogbo inspecting the Okefia flyover, saying it helps counter rumors questioning the quality of the project. Adeleke, in a post on X today, expressed delight at the public assessment of the flyover, which has faced criticism over its design and execution. The footage showed residents measuring sections of the bridge and commending the administration, dismissing claims that the project was narrow or substandard. Adeleke, however, urged the public to wait until the work was completed and certified safe before use. The project has been the subject of opposition propaganda, with critics describing its construction as a poor decision and alleging that the bridge was too narrow and of low quality. Rumors regarding the closure of the Bola Ige International Business Complex, Gbagi Ibadan, tomorrow Monday has been refuted. According to a statement from the Oyo State Commissioner for Investment, Trade, Cooperatives and Industry, Adeniyi Adebisi, in Ibadan, the state capital, the rumor is unfounded, baseless, and a deliberate attempt by miscreants to cause unnecessary tension within the business community. Adebisi reassured traders, shop owners, and members of the public that the Gbagi market would not be closed as speculated by certain mischief makers. He further noted that the government was aware of certain practices within the complex where some shop owners, mostly elders within the business complex, allegedly allot the spaces in front of their shops to petty traders, sometimes even measuring the portions with rulers and exploiting them financially. The circulation of false information suggesting that employment application forms are being sold to prospective job seekers has been dismissed. The Kano State Civil Service Commissioner's Director of Public Enlightenment, Musbahu Yakasai, in a statement released to newsmen, strongly urged the public to rely solely on official government channels for authentic updates on its recruitment and other activities, stressing that all official announcements will be released exclusively through the appropriate government platforms. It further reiterated its commitment to transparency, accountability, and due process in every recruitment exercise, saying anyone found perpetrating fraud under the guise of the Commission will be prosecuted in accordance with the law. A notorious kidnapper and armed robbery kingpin, Muhammad Bami, also known as Zomo, has been arrested in Doma local government area of Nasarawa State. In a statement by the State Police Command spokesperson, Ramhan Nansal, the suspect, who had evaded arrest last month when his gang members were caught, was apprehended during a clearance operation at Doka Forest. Nansal disclosed that eagle-eyed operatives spotted him and in a desperate bid to evade capture, he pulled a knife to attack the officers but was swiftly overpowered and arrested. According to the command, Zomo later led detectives to the gang's hideout in Alagie village where arms, ammunition and uniforms were recovered. The items include one pump-action rifle, one locally made AK-47 rifle with magazine, 2 live ammunition and 5 cartridges, one knife and a rope, 2 techno handsets and a pair of NSCD uniforms. $75,544 kilograms of skunk have been destroyed in operations carried out across forests in Edo, Delta, Ondo, and Taraba states. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency's Director, Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, made this known in a statement in Abuja. According to Babafemi, a total of 14,233.37 kilograms of skunk were destroyed in 4 plantations measuring 5.6 hectares along Ebule Forest, Owan West Local Government Area, Edo, where 7,500 kilograms of skunk on 3 hectares of farmland were destroyed at Dadinkowa Village, Bali Local Government Area of Taraba State on August 20th. Babafemi said that 901 kilograms of the same substance was evacuated from a warehouse at Uzeba in Owen West Local Government Area of Edo State, and a 54-year-old female was arrested in connection with the substance. He said that various commands and formations of the agency across the country had continued the war against drug abuse, as well as sensitization efforts in schools, worship centers, workplaces, and communities. Now on the foreign scene, Libya's state-run National Oil Corporation said it would soon host the Libyan-U.S. Energy Forum aimed at boosting partnerships and investment in the North African country's oil and natural gas sector. Libya is one of Africa's biggest oil producers, but output has been disrupted repeatedly in the chaotic decade since 2014, when the country split between rival authorities in the east and west following the NATO-backed uprising that toppled Muammar Gaddafi. An NOC statement said the event, for which no date has yet been set, will be held in partnership with U.S. company Freedom First and will be attended by representatives from leading U.S. energy firms, along with Libyan investors and officials. It was gathered that NOC recently signed a memorandum of understanding with U.S. agent giant ExxonMobil following a decade of inactivity in Libya due to security reasons. In Asia, Vietnam has announced plans to evacuate more than 500,000 people and ordered boats to stay ashore, while the southern Chinese city of Sanya closed businesses and public transport today as both braced for an intensifying typhoon Kajiki. China's National Meteorological Center said the storm is forecast to brush past the southern coast of China's island province of Hainan from this evening before heading for Vietnam. China's weather forecaster said it is likely to strengthen further, with wind speeds as high as 180 kilometers per hour. Authorities in Vietnam plan to evacuate more than 586,000 people from the central provinces of Thanh Hoa, Quang Tri, Hue, and Da Nang, where the typhoon is forecast to make landfall early on Monday. In Europe, the United Kingdom said criminals will be barred from pubs, concerts, and sports matches under new sentencing powers as part of its plan for change. It said that judges would be able to curtail offenders' freedoms with driving limits, travel bans, and restriction zones confining them into specific areas. The changes are expected to toughen up community punishments to deter reoffending and force offenders back on the straight and narrow way. It said that as part of the government's work to do everything in its power to keep Britain safe, offenders coming out of prison and supervised by the probation service would also face similar restrictions and an expanded mandatory drug testing regime. Lord Chancellor and Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood said widening the range of punishments available to judges was part of the government's plan for change to cut crime and make streets safer. In the Middle East, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei said the current situation with the United States was unsolvable and said that Tehran would never bow to pressure to obey Washington amid a standoff with Western powers over its nuclear program. The Islamic Republic suspended nuclear negotiations with the United States after the United States and Israel bombed its nuclear sites during the 12-day war in June. Khamenei's comments came after Iran and European powers agreed on Friday to resume talks to try to restart full negotiations on curbing Tehran's nuclear enrichment work. Meanwhile, top U.S. envoy Thomas Barak arrived in Israel and has met with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu regarding the U.S. request that Israel restrain its strikes in Lebanon and negotiations with Syria. Barak also met with Israel's Minister for Strategic Affairs Ron Dermer, Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, and Minister of Defense Israel Katz. Now talking sports, Abdul Adama has entered the history books, becoming the first ever Nigerian swimmer to win a medal at the World Aquatic Junior Swimming Championships in Romania, and in addition broke 2 national records in a single day. The 17-year-old claimed the silver medal in the men's 50 meters butterfly, finishing in 23.64 seconds, just behind Great Britain's Dean Fenn, who took gold with 23.554 seconds. His previous Nigerian record of 23.81 seconds was first lowered to 23.61 seconds in the preliminaries and then to an impressive 23.48 seconds in the semi-finals. This extraordinary performance has positioned him as a potential Olympic medal contender for the 2028 Los Angeles Games, signaling a bright future for Nigerian swimming on the global stage. Still talking sports, Chelsea have given permission to Borussia Dortmund to fly Kane Chukwuemeka and Aaron Anselmino to Germany to complete moves that will take the players' sales at Stamford Bridge this summer to beyond £270 million. Chukwuemeka, 21 years old, spent the second half of last season on loan at Dortmund and is set to sign on a permanent basis for a fee rising to about £24 million, with a significant sell-on clause included. The England under-20 international was keen to move back to the Westfalenstadion despite interest from RB Leipzig and is in the process of finalizing his return. That deal will take Chelsea's income from player sales this summer to a league-high £273.4 million, which almost balances out the £277 million spent in incoming transfers. UEFA have told Chelsea they must record a positive transfer balance this window in order to be allowed to register their new signings for this season's Champions League. Before we go, here again are the highlights. The federal government has approved Nigeria's medium-term debt management strategy for 2024 to 2027, aimed at ensuring debt sustainability, improving fiscal stability, and deepening the domestic securities market. Operatives of the Nasarawa Police Command have arrested a notorious kidnapper and armed robbery kingpin, Muhammad Bami, also known as Zomo, in Doma local government area of the state. And on the foreign scene, we brought to you that Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, said the current situation with the United States was unsolvable and that Tehran would never bow to pressure to obey Washington amid a standoff with Western powers over its nuclear program. That was the world news on Radio Afinju. To view our channel, please follow Radio Afinju on Facebook, X and YouTube. The news was edited by Stella Aderonti. My name is Pearl Durotoye. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
That was the world news on Radio Afinju.